crawling our way to work on a Friday morning, and it's kind of funny. I let some people get up in here before we talk about what we got to talk about. But my channel is turning the corner, y'all. It's turning the corner. Views are up 43% in just the last, like, I'd say 2 weeks. So we're out here making it happen, man. That's all I gotta say, man. Where you tuning in from? Good morning. Let's let some people get up in the room. Let's have a little talk. Rolling into work. What's up, Frankie? Lancaster, PA. I've been there. We got property that borders Pennsylvania and New York. Matter of fact, I'll be there next week. This time next week. But yeah, matter of fact, last night, me and my wife, we went to the Jason Aldean concert, and it was here in Naples, Florida. Man, that guy is something else. I'll tell you what. You know, sometimes I look at these performances, and it makes me kind of draw some similarities between this and kind of what we do for a living too. So I want to talk about that stuff in a second. I'm gonna give you guys some really like just some crazy off the top thoughts. Quincy, Illinois, what's up, man? Dwayne, thank you for tuning in. So there was 2 bands that opened up before Jason Aldean took the stage, and man, I had no idea he was that good live. I mean, I thought there was a little bit of movie magic that went into his voice prior to this. I didn't care. I mean, he's one of my favorite artists of all time, and damn, that dude could sing. But besides the fact, he's given a performance, which he obviously understands. This is what he does. This is his business, right? He's here to give you a good time and make sure that you enjoy it. And is that so very different than our business? You know, some people forget the fact that when you cut hair, when you're a barber, when you're doing this for a living, you're actually on a stage. If you believe it or not, you're on a stage. Whether you're cutting your client's hair, he's watching you. Other barbers' clients are watching you. Other people that are walking in, the moms who you're cutting their kids, they're watching you. And if you are conducting yourself in a way that would make them not have a good time, then you're giving a bad performance. I mean, it's just as simple as that. If you're not talking to your clients, if you got headphones on, if you are doing things that they wouldn't respect you for doing, like maybe you're cutting a kid's hair and you're vaping, maybe you're doing something stupid, like all of that stuff adds up to whether or not you're putting on a good performance. And that's kind of the most important thing here. And you know, that's probably why this business isn't for everybody. I had a guy try to start working at the shop. This was a couple years ago, but like, he wasn't that bad of a guy at cutting hair. He was a solid hair cutter, but he let his anxieties get in the way. And you know, if you're not sociable, if you're not a people person, if you can't look past the fact that you can make mistakes, that you can, you know, still survive, that you can mess up a haircut, whatever. If you can't look past all that stuff and just be comfortable with it, makes it very hard for you to give that good performance. Now, I noticed when Jason Aldean took the stage, this dude was in his element. 100% knew exactly what he would do. His stage crew, man, when they came out and just set everything up, they did it in like a heartbeat. It was a well-oiled machine through years of practice, and it was clear that that's what we were watching. So just be honest with me right now, before you go into your shop, before you start cutting hair, are you giving the best performance that you could? And what are some things that could help the performance behind the chair to lead to more income in your pocket and an overall happier service for your client? Because if you are giving that good performance for that client, then you're going to be able to get more clients, you're going to satisfy them better, and they're going to wind up recommending you to more people at the end of the day. Higher value clients, higher value services. People don't want to walk in a shop and be made fun of, made to feel uncomfortable, you know, just all of those things. Like, if your performance circles around making people feel comfortable, making sure that their issues are addressed, making sure that you are going the extra mile, everybody who's in this room at some point in your life has went the extra mile for somebody. But it's not about going the extra mile for somebody when you feel like going the extra mile. It's about being strong enough to go the extra mile when you don't feel like doing it. When you feel like quitting. That's what real strength is. Nobody looks at nobody respects a quitter. Nobody respects somebody who gives up. Hey man, that guy was all hopped up to win that marathon, but you know what? Once he started running for a little bit, he got tired and he said, you know what, fuck it. I don't want to run today. Nah. You respect the guy who finishes the marathon, whether he finished second, third, fourth, last, whatever, but you respect the fact that he gritted it out even when he didn't feel like it. And if I'm talking about an extreme situation, but in your shop, maybe you're just hungry. Maybe you just want to go to fucking lunch. Maybe you just want to leave the shop. Maybe you just want to do all these other things that seem more important to you at the time. But I will warn you about all that stuff. That's not present. You're not being present when you do that. When you do that, your brain is somewhere else and you're not focused on your client. You're not giving a good performance. You're not giving a experience to the client. I've told you guys this many times. I've seen some shitty barbers in my life with big clienteles and a lot of people and a lot of success. And I've seen some excellent barbers in my life with the complete opposite, because their performance was just bad. They show up late. They leave early. They talk about themselves the entire time during the haircut. They interrupt the client when they talk. They don't get the client to open up. It's a general rule of thumb that your client's probably having a good time if you can get them to talk to you and you can talk less. If you can open them up to talk about certain subjects. And then also on the other end of that spectrum, sometimes the client don't want to talk to you. Sometimes they just want to be left alone with their thoughts. And so if you keep, trying to find ways to open them up, you're probably not going to. You're not going to give them the best service you can. But even in that situation, you can perform for them in other ways. You can go the extra mile. Look, man, it looks like you're having a hard day. I'm going to do like the top line of your beard, blend your beard in. I won't charge you for it. Using common sense behind the chair is another thing. Like we charge $35 or $40 or even $50, depending on what service you get, right? But sometimes people will book that $50 service and they're like a senior. And, senior cuts here are $25. So you don't just charge this guy, you use common sense and you let him know, you know what I'm saying? Like let him know that, hey, the service you booked actually takes an hour. I finished your hair in 15 minutes and you wound up booking the wrong service. Just go ahead and book the right way. This time I'm not going to charge you $50 for this haircut. And that's called common sense. That's going the extra mile for thy fellow man right there. Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you, John P. I appreciate it, man. If you guys are liking this content, get the likes up, man. Get the likes up. But I'll probably drop a short on this. Look, I'm not worried about YouTube views or all this other stuff. You know why? Because my views are up 43%. And, all the hard work that I put in the wrong places. But you know what? At the end of the day, I was never going to give up. I've been doing this for 12 years. In the very beginning, I had zero support, even my inner circle, zero support. And, I had to buy cameras and equipment and learn how to do all this and learn how to talk and learn how to communicate and learn how to speak to the camera and edit. And, so at the end of the day, sometimes I think, why the fuck did I do all this? Why did I do all that? Like, it was so much to learn. It was so difficult. But then I think to myself, it's because I believed in myself. And if you talk to anybody right now in NFL training camps, if you talk to any of these people, I was listening to Dallas Cowboy, I was listening to Micah Parsons. He's going on about how they're going to win the Super Bowl. And, let's be honest, Dallas might not win the Super Bowl. But that's not the point. The point is he has convinced himself. And he's convinced himself that he's the best player in the league, and he is one of the best players in the league. Seve Ballesteros, one of the greatest golfers that ever lived. He was convinced that he was the best player in the world. There was no talking him out of it. And, at a certain point, we all got to convince ourselves. And whether you realize it or not, you convince yourself to do all kinds of shit. You can convince yourself to go to the gym. You can convince yourself to start eating right. You can convince yourself to do things that are positive in your life, right? You could do that. Or you could say, I don't got time for that. I don't got time for the gym. I don't got time to eat right. I don't got... These are conscious decisions. You decided to sleep in. You decided not to make time for it. You decided to skip this client because you wanted to take a smoke break or you wanted to go do something else. You lose a client at the end of the day, every day, let's say for a week, that's going to add up to thousands of dollars throughout the year. Oh, I don't have nobody, I'm out. That's the type of conscious decisions that you can't make. You got to find that dog in you. You got to find that belief in yourself. And once you are convinced that you are the best at this, might not give the best cut, but I'll give the best service. Might not give the best service, but I'll give the best cut. Whatever it is that you got to tell yourself, I'm going to improve in those other areas. Maybe I'm not the best at editing right now, but I'm going to get there. Maybe I'm not the best at filming and the best at putting my stuff together, but I'm going to get there. And that's the thing. You have to have that. You have to have that mentality of the dog. And I see it all the time with pro athletes. You look at people who made it in these really high places, and I'm sure there was people who told Parsons in the beginning, they probably told him, dude, you're not going to, you're good at this. You're good at this, but you're probably not going to make it in the NFL. Dana White, tell me I won't. Tell me I won't do it. And I'll prove you wrong every time. And that's what I'm talking about right there. Is finding that determination, that strength, that inner strength to make that happen. All right? So at the end of the day, today's live is really just about making sure that we are constantly trying to evolve our process. We are constantly trying to evolve our performance, because when you cut hair and you're behind the chair, you're giving a performance. You're putting something together. The way that you do certain things, the things that you do, the things that you choose to do before work, after work. There's so many things you can do when you leave work to continue growing your clientele, but many of us just check out, go smoke some weed, go drink a beer, forget about it, drown yourself out until tomorrow, and then tomorrow you come up and complain about, oh man, all this stuff ain't working. Like, but really, how much work are you putting in? What are you really doing? You know what I mean? So, Sim looks, he said, not sure if you're taking questions, but I'm starting at a shop, renting booth for the first time. Do I need to start an LLC or get a number or anything before started? My advice to you would be to seek out the help of an accountant, but I can just tell you what I do. One thing that makes life a little bit easier is if you form an LLC and then you go ahead and you open up a business account. Now, all your profits and expenses towards the business run through that. You don't spend money out of that for your personal stuff. And then that just makes doing your taxes a little bit easier at the end of the year. And that is yet another thing that is smart to educate yourself on, because a lot of us, this is one thing that's a real epidemic with the barber business. I hope you guys are ready for this one. I can't tell you how many times I've left the shop with $500, $600, $700 in my pocket from a hard day at work. And that money is always in my pocket, but it's never saved. I will pull money out on dumb things. Oh, what's that? It's $500. Who cares? I'll make it back tomorrow. Oh, what about this? What about that? New car, new rim, new this, new that, blah, 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 blah. Bunch of shit I don't need. And we never put it away. So when you become a better steward of your finances, you start to realize, like, yeah, maybe I don't need that pair of shoes. This pair of shoes working fine. Maybe I don't need that dumbass shirt. This shirt, I can wear this shirt. You know, maybe I just need to be happy with the stuff I got. I watched this video one time. It was just all about people acquiring trinkets in life. Oh, I got to drive this nice car. I got to do this. I got to do that. And I'll tell you guys this, and you know this to be true. Everything that you've ever wanted in your life, the best part about it was the desire and the dream about it. But once you obtain it, the interest that you feel in it diminishes somehow. It diminishes. God, I gotta have those shoes. That would change my life. And you put the shoes on and you realize it's just like any other fucking shoe. But somehow you convinced yourself that you needed it. And better than that, the advertisers for that shoe convinced you that you needed it. And they're laughing when they put the money in their pocket. So it's kind of this funny thing when you start to realize, like, no, my truck is a 2013. Could I buy a new truck? Absolutely. Why the hell would I? I got a Toyota Tacoma. This thing's going to last another 20 years. Plus, I love the ass groove in this seat. When I sit in this seat, man, it's like I thought about getting another one of these seats, putting it in my house. Because that's what I'm talking about right there. So these are the kind of people that wind up in this business. I'm gonna warn you. One, you got people like type A personalities, take shit real serious, show up on time, do what they're supposed to do, work, go home, repeat. Do extra stuff at home to make sure business is successful. That would be the type A personality. Somebody who got into this because they knew they were going to be successful at it, because they were going to conduct themselves at a higher level than many of the people who do. Two, you have people who come into this business as a second career, who also take it serious because they realize if they fuck it up, they're going back to the place that made them miserable. They see this as a gift. They see this as an opportunity. Now, three, third person that comes into this business, you couldn't hack it and all the other stuff you did into your life. You couldn't show up at work on time. Your work ethic sucked. Everything else that you've ever done, you've been fired from every job. Or maybe it's a little less harsh than that. But however, you wind up in barbering as a fallback job because you say, I'm going to go into business for myself. But if you can't even work at a regular job and keep it, and then you come into this business thinking that something's going to change, some motivation that just wasn't there previous is going to magically appear, like that's not going to happen. All right. And those are the type of barbers that don't greet people when they walk in. They don't give a shit to take a walk in. They treat people like they don't matter. They feel like they're doing you a favor when you walk in the shop. And that will never go anywhere. I promise you. Those are the types of people that you'll see in this business. It's usually one of those three people that you're going to see in this business. And when you see that stuff, you think to yourself, okay, who in my shop is actually successful? Who around you is doing this at a higher level? What are they doing different that you are not doing? And just be honest with yourself. Conduct an internal audit. Because the truth is, there is slack in your life that you can pick up. You could pick up the slack. And you know it. You know it, but you're too fucking lazy to do it. And that's just the absolute truth. We can say what we want, and it could be applied to anything. It could be applied to anything. All right? So at the end of the day, you got to find that dog in you. You got to find that grind in you, and you got to say what type of person you're going to be. If you conduct this, let me tell you something that's just so funny to me. If you conduct yourself in this business, even 50% better than average people, like you just show up on time, like you just don't leave before the day is over, like you talk to people when they walk in, and you're just a conversational person, and you greet people and you treat people like they matter. I know it sounds like common sense. To me, it's common sense. But why do they have so many bullshit rules at a corporate place? You go to Target, those employees got all kinds of rules. You're fired if you're late twice, this, that, the third. You can do this during your lunch break. You got to clock out at this minute, that minute, blah, 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 blah. Down the line, they had to make all these rules. Because what was perceived as common sense turned out to not be so common of sense. And if you're looking around your area at all the barbershops and everything else, and you see a lot of unsuccessful people, well, guess what? Guess what? The competition in this business is so low and so easy to compete with, it's not even funny. There is no competition in this business for a person who does those things that I'm just telling you to do right now. You're going to be conducting yourself at a much higher level, and you can go beyond that. But that's just the basic facts. If you just do what is common sense, then you're going to be a success in this business. And that's why those people who come into this business as a second career, they have an advantage upon you because they see it as a gift, and they understand that doing the common sense things is actually going to lead. And then there's also the patience that's involved in that. You became a barber yesterday. A lot of you guys are new barbers. A lot of you guys just went through school. Some of you guys aren't even done with school. You're going to come out, and maybe somebody convinced you that you're going to make a ton of money in that first year. You're not. I'm just going to be honest with you. You are going to get out what you put in. That's what Nana always said. What you put in is what you get out. And when you first get to this business, you didn't put nothing in. There's no blood, sweat, and tears yet. So you can't go around expecting anything. However, if you do put that in, I promise you, it will be worth it when it's all said and done. So I'm going to take a couple comments here. Pulling up to the shop. I got a couple things going on, but we're going to make it happen. Oh, I gave you the alpha clippers, huh? He said Horatio said it's because of you I made the decision to become a licensed barber. You're making a huge impact. Keep grinding. You probably don't remember, but you gave me the alpha clipper. That must have been a while ago. Frankie Torres, listen, bro, I followed your channel for a long time. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your gems you just dropped over the years. For the young new barbers, y'all really need to listen to this man. Appreciate you, man. He said there's another licensed barber that's going to want it more. Absolutely. That's what I tell my son in the golf tournaments. When you lose, it's just because somebody else wanted it more. Somebody else went just a little bit harder than you did. They practiced just a little bit longer than you did. I'll leave you with this one. My son really believes he's going to be a professional golfer one day. And I tell him all the time, 2 conversations, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. First conversation is, Dad, I really wish you would have pushed me a little harder, and I wish I would have worked a little harder because I think I had a chance to be a pro. Second conversation is, thank God you pushed me so hard, and thank God I worked so hard because now I'm a pro. Which conversation do you want to have, son? That's what I say to him all the time. And then I was talking to somebody that is potentially coming on the team of Gamma and Stylecraft, and he was talking about how the ergos kind of changed the way he was able to cut hair. The ergos was the one that did it, and it dawned on me that the ergos was the one that really made me cut hair well too, like when I first picked up the ergo clippers. So I went through a couple of boxes at the house. I got out 2 pairs of ergos. One has a taper blade, one has a fade blade. And I'm about to go have some fun with that right now, because sometimes you do this so long, man, you just got to change something up. You know, I've been cutting with everything there is to cut with, especially all the new stuff. And just like my truck, a 2013, just because there's new stuff coming out does not mean that some of the stuff that came out prior to that is not good. So I'm going to have a little fun, and I'm going to take it back to the ergos. But I do appreciate you guys all for jumping in this live and hanging out with me on this little ride to work, man. And I appreciate you all for all the love and all the support. And 43% up on the YouTube channel. I've been dropping a short every single day, and I'm going to try to continue doing that as long as I am able to. So I got a couple good videos coming down the pipe, man. You guys keep it locked, and I will catch you guys soon. This is the YouTube Barber